Alright guys, I'm back. Another live stream here at Palmer Aquatics. And I went to the bathroom and I am refueled. So hopefully a bunch of you guys are going to jump back in the chat. And today's topic is on discus fish. And I get asked this all the time. Chris, why don't you keep discus fish? And why don't you do a lot of videos on discus fish? And the reason is because keeping discus fish is extremely hard, difficult, and expensive. So today is going to be kind of a rant on why I don't keep discus fish anymore, nor will I ever probably. And a lot of people are going to say, hey, you're completely wrong. Discus fish are easy to keep. I have them in a planted tank, and usually people that keep these and say that to me are people that are somewhat new to keeping discus, and they haven't been around long enough to know the truths of keeping discus fish. And I just got into a kind of a feud with a woman at the fish store. She was really into keeping discus, and she bolted into the fish store, and she was like, I need more discus fish. I have a planted tank. And she had some questions, and like always, when it gets busy at the fish store, they'll commonly ask me questions. The fish store owner will say, hey, go ask Chris some questions. He's very knowledgeable. I essentially am on working duty when I go into some of these fish stores because people just recognize me. And I mean, it's cool, and I love chatting, and I love meeting new people. But anyways, I got into this feud with a lady, and I was like, oh, you're keeping discus fish? I'm like, I'm kind of biased. I've kept discus in the past, and I tell people to be careful with keeping them because they're just, there are some variables. This is kind of a touchy topic, but I'm strong-hearted in this, and I will preach what I believe in. And I'm gonna make a list of why I don't keep discus fish, and I'm gonna write it down as I say it because I'm kind of weird like that. I'm a scatterbrain, and people make comments all the time. Hey, Chris, you need to take Adderall. You have ADD. Yes, I know I have ADD, but screw off. Don't be mean about it. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, number one, or let me bring up the chat here. I'm getting off topic. I got to remember this is a live stream and just not me rambling. So, how are my fish geeks doing tonight? He says, how do you pronounce that? Lorette? Is it Lorette? Lorette? Thanks a lot for the ranch. All right, guys. So, bringing up the chat here, mute my sound as usual so I don't hear my voice and freak out. All right. The chat is loading. Michigan Aquatics is here. I need Mountain Dew. Yeah, the Mountain Dew is keeping me going right now. I worked night shift last night, and I'm just kind of a hot mess right now because I slept during the day for a bit, and my schedule's all screwed up. Thanks for making me a mod, says William. Hunter gives the wave. Hey, first time I've got to watch the stream live, says the side of right. Hey, it's good seeing ya. Jamie says, hey man, Caleb Aquatics. Hey, Matt's Fish Keeping, Hunter. Can I be a mod, Chris? Says Caleb Aquatics. Yes, possibly. Let me figure this out. I gotta keep on topic. Message me after. Aquaball says, hey, how's it going? All right, guys. So back to talking about discus fish and why I don't keep discus fish. And I gotta think of the hierarchy of reasons in which are in order of why I don't keep discus fish. Number one, discus fish get sick all the time, and especially these farm-raised discus fish. And when you get, I'm gonna write this down, sick, and because when you buy these farm-raised fish, you know, from seagrass or just wherever they are from, essentially, like this fish is, like, there's something wrong where, because if you do a bunch of in-depth research about discus fish, because I'm obsessed with cichlids, and I've been down the discus wormhole. These fish in natural habitat don't need as high of water temperatures as they do in aquariums. Like, why is that? Like, where did that come about? Where, you know, in their natural habitat, they can be kept at regular tropical temperatures. But now that they are farm raised in aquariums, you need to keep your tanks at 84, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Like that probably means that the fish is just more susceptible to disease, or they're just so susceptible to becoming sick that when you crank up the temperatures, it helps their immune system. But in fact, when you crank temperatures on tropical fish, it makes their metabolism faster, it shortens their lifespan, and it makes them want to breed like crazy, which shortens their lifespan. And something went wrong there. You know, like, why is that happening? So number one, these fish get sick, and a lot of people argue with me. Well, my fish aren't sick, Chris, and it's because you're new to fish keeping and you haven't kept discus long enough. Wait till you get around that 1 year mark, and you're going to lose a discus here and there, and you're going to realize that they're extremely expensive, and the larger they are in size, the more they cost, but the hardier they are. And it's you will experience sickness, and a lot of the purest discus enthusiasts they only want wild fish because they're hardier, they can be kept at lower temperatures. They're just hardier, and they want a hardier fish because they understand discus are just so susceptible to disease. So my local fish store is full of them, says Aquaballs. Yes, and that's because they sell like hotcakes. And a lot of times what people do is we fool ourselves. A lot of us are having fish die, but we're just continuously buying them because we're addicted, and we kind of just brush it off that the fish are dying. And that's kind of an issue too. Like, why are these fish dying? Cichlids are supposed to live a long time, and you have to ask yourself, if you follow a lot of the huge fish keepers, like on YouTube, you follow their journeys, a lot of them don't keep discus, and there's a reason. Like, Corey openly admits he doesn't touch discus. He's in the same boat. He's smart enough to once you've been in the industry for long enough, you just understand. Okay, number one, they get sick. Number two, water temperature. And when you keep a lot of tanks, like a lot of us do, a lot of us are highly addicted to keeping fish aquariums. And here, one sec. William says, my local fish store sells discus for like $10 at 3 inches. Yes, and they're not sturdy at 3 inches, and it's what makes a discus expensive. I gotta say one word: demand. There's demand. The colorations, they're just pure beauty. It essentially it's a tall, thin plate, and it's like a plate of a fish. You know, it's thin, it's tall, it's a lot of coloration right at you. They have different colorations. They have purples, blues, every color variant you can think of, and demand. It's like every fish in the industry, everything is forced by demand. So, but anyways, keeping water temperatures that high is extremely annoying. And maybe if you have like 1, 2, 3 tanks, it's okay to do because you can pay a little more in the power bill. But a lot of us struggle with high power bills. The lights are hard on power, the filtration, and not to mention, on top of the water temperature needing to be crazy high, you also need to crazy filter it. So keeping discus are extremely expensive to keep. You need to over filter. You need to do water changes. Every single bill you can think of is going to be higher with keeping discus. Your water bill, your electricity bill, your filtration, which is the power bill. It's like Pablo says, I prefer Severums or Warus, and that is known as the poor man's discus. But essentially, all those variables, water temperature, they're expensive to buy, they're expensive to keep, they're lots of work. Like, what I just don't see the light in keeping discus. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one. I'm probably I'm getting a little ranty, but I'm very passionate about this. And Bobby V says a 90-gallon. 90-gallon tank is probably the perfect size for discus. The bigger the better, because the water's more polluted. You're going to have the water parameters they're going to change at less frequently, essentially. Ooh, I can feel that Mountain Dew kicking in. I'm getting worked up. I will never get Discus, says Happy Toast. Yeah, and this is a rant to why you shouldn't buy Discus. All right, number 1 is they get sick. Number 3, water temperature. Number 3, God, I'm all over the place. Number 2, water temp. Number 3 is going to be water changes. The amount of water changes you need is insane. If you hang out in a lot of the Discus fish keeper groups, these people are telling you to do water changes every other day or every day. Have you guys ever heard of the topic of over-filtration? It is a true thing, and a lot of us are just, we're over-filtering, you know, like the tank, you know, like you're almost better keeping Discus in a tank that's a little dirtier, because I believe in the fish growing, you know, it's like children. They need to grow like I'm trying to figure out how to say this, but they need to like grow immune to all the things they can get sick from and grow that immunity. Like, if I wish you could give fish vaccines like you can children, because if we had vaccines for fish, it would be like much, I don't know, that's off topic, but the water changes I feel like are way overboard. And when you look up care sheets or species spotlights on keeping Discus, people are telling you to do like every other day water changes, which is insane. Like, their immune systems are just crazy weak, and I think in the aquarium industry, we're weakening their immune systems by doing these massive amounts of water changes all the time, because they're not just, I don't know, it's a weak fish, guys, and I don't know. Big feste to clean makes their immune system weak. Yeah, and it's, you know, like a lot of my tanks look amazing, and sometimes I'll test the water and the nitrates are a little high, but the fish are doing extremely well, and I've even seen fish breed with the nitrates that high. So you know, these ecosystems don't have to be perfect as long as there's like contingency, like you know, scheduling and keeping it just at like a spectrum of what, like, staying the same essentially. All right, this chat I gotta quit looking at. So, but they're amazing colors and amazing fish, aquaballs. They are truly amazing fish, but how about this, aquaballs? You keep a Waru or some Severums. There's some really cool Severums. There's tons of different kinds. I don't know. I'm done with Discus fish. I will never keep them again. I probably won't even have them for sale in the store, because I don't want to heat the tanks. I don't want to do the water changes. I don't want to do any of it. When you take care of tough cichlids, you understand how hard keeping Discus fish were. Like, I remember the days when I was doing all those water changes, and eventually I got down to 1 Discus fish and it died, and I was in the internet forums just looking up how much, or like what to dose with, what medicine. Like, you almost become a scientist. All right, and that brings me to number 4. The 4th reason why I will never keep Discus fish again is expensive medications. Expensive medications. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, I'm not going to have to deal with a sick Discus fish. But I tell you what, the day will come when your Discus fish gets sick, and it's going to be your big prized Discus that you paid $100 for, and you're going to be so depressed, and you're like, you know what? I gotta buy this stuff. I'm gonna race to the fish store. I'm gonna get some General Cure, what have you, whatever it is, and it's going to happen. And essentially, a couple of years later, you're going to have an arsenal of medications you're keeping for the Discus fish, and you're going to become essentially a scientist on treating fish that die anyways. I'm sorry, but it's just, and people are gonna stab at my fish keeping skills in the comments later on in this video, because I've dealt with it before, like the electric blue Jack Dempsey's. It's the same thing. People troll it all the time, and they're just like, you don't know how to keep fish, Chris. You're stupid. But if you look at a lot of the comments, they're like, yep, electric blues died in a day. Yep, they're dead. Yep, they died. I'll never buy them again. They died. Yeah. Discus are beautiful fish, but they don't move much, so they get boring. Yeah, I don't know, man, it's Aquaballs, Severums, not Severum. Alright, so, hey brother, this is a little off topic, but hope it's alright. I have a small jaguar cichlid, and I'm having a hard time sexing it. Anyway, I can send you a photo of it. Yes, jaguar cichlids are extremely hard to sex as juveniles, and I highly advise you just don't worry about it, because when it gets older, you will be able, even when they're older, they're hard to sex because their colorations do not change and the shape of their finnage doesn't change until they're like into adulthood, and they're probably not going to breed until they're into adulthood anyways. So it's and if you're looking to breed, if the core reason you're looking to find the sex of your jaguar cichlid is to breed them, I would think again, because jaguar cichlids are extremely cheap. People are breeding them all over the place. They're easy to breed, and I would just try to just enjoy the fish and just keep it as a pet. And I've bred jags before. They're extremely easy. The parents do everything. It's you can buy a jaguar cichlid for $10 to $15 right now, and it's an awesome fish, and it kills me to see them so cheap because people are just breeding the living daylights out of these fish. Same with Dovi. Alright, Michigan Aquatics says, I can find African cichlids in the same colors as Discus. Yes, true, but Africans, they don't have that tall, plate-like body structure. People just love Discus, so jags start breeding at 4 inches, vent them. Yes, you can take it out and vent it, flip it upside down. But what I'm getting at is, I mean, you don't necessarily need to breed it, and the sex doesn't matter. Matt's Fish Keeping says, I don't like jaguar cichlids. Ooh, boy, you're in the wrong chat, buddy. That's my favorite fish. But my favorite fish could change week to week, so don't feel bad. It's all right. There's weeks where I'm just like, you know what? I'm over jags, and I'm obsessed with arrows, or I'm obsessed with flower horns. Right now, I'm on arowanas again. I'm trying to do some videos on the Giardini and the African arowana. I have a list of fish that I need videos on that you guys need to send me videos of your fish if you have some. Right now, I'm doing videos on the Panda Cory, and some of you guys are like, oh, that's boring, Panda Corydoris, but they're awesome catfish, and for a community tank, they're extremely awesome. So if you can't get on that level, then shut the door on your hand. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so and other videos I need. Sorry. Like I said, the African arowana, Giardini arowana. I want to do a new video on the silver arowana because my silver arowana video kind of turned out crappy. I had some video footage from someone else, and the entire video got downgraded to a different quality because of one video in there. I'm pissed about it. Anyways, so the reasons I don't keep discus fish: number 1, they get sick all the time. Number 2, water temperatures. They got to be crazy water temperatures. Number 3, extreme water changes, excessive water changes. Number 4, expensive medications. Number 5, what else is there? They die all the time. That's kind of goes in correlation with all of these, but what else is there? The fish are expensive. How about that? Like, just to get started to buy a beautiful fish, they're super expensive. I mean, that's kind of cool though. I'm gonna say cost. Number 5 is cost. I like that they're expensive though, because a lot of fish in this industry aren't that expensive except for like the predator fish that grow really large, which is kind of odd because that is a minute amount of the industry essentially. So it's like, it's weird. I like the fact that some of the more fish need to be more expensive that we keep because it makes the hobby more exotic. Maybe that's because I'm a fish guru, but the fact that they're cheap makes it so that more people can keep them. I don't know. It's a double-edged sword. Anyways, Aquaball says yes, a pair of breeders are $250. Yeah, it's crazy expensive, especially if you're buying a breeding pair. Essentially, I would say only people that are buying breeding pairs are people that are looking to go like head first into breeding for profit, and because a new beginner fish keeper isn't probably going to buy breeding pair. They're going to buy a couple of them and try to have them pair up themselves to save some money, and it's a battle getting them to pair up too. And but yeah, they're just expensive. I'm gonna keep it as simple as that. Number 6, the cost, the supplies for everything for them are expensive. Breeding cones are expensive. Their food is expensive because a fish with a weaker immune system needs better quality foods. That like beef heart. There is a people get super Nazi over what they feed discus fish, and that's a whole other topic I could get ranty about, but it's I don't know, it's how deep I want to go and how much I want to piss off people that keep discus fish. And a lot of people that keep discus kind of tier themselves at a higher level of fish keeping than a lot of other people. And some people are going to say, yeah, but you can't keep discus fish because you're not as good as a fish keeper. Whatever, that can also be true. Maybe I'm not. Maybe that's fine. Maybe I like stronger fish. That's why I go with cichlids. That's probably somewhat true, essentially. So, all right, the chat. Michigan Aquatics says, my jag will destroy your parrot and your OB. The colors on jags are amazing with the gold and the shines. Yeah, I saw your video on your jags, Michigan Aquatics. They're really coloring up, so I'm following your channel, by the way. Hunter says, I'm primarily a goldfish and beta keeper. My holy grail would probably be a single-tailed black pearl scale. Yes, Hunter, I would like to also... I'll piss off a lot of my subscribers, but I would also like to do some cool videos on goldfish eventually. And I admin goldfish keepers, a lot of you guys don't know that. I also do like goldfish. I'm becoming more obsessed with fish that you don't have to heat the tanks in, because when you can do ponds outside, like in the springtime and stuff, it's such a beautiful thing. And it's closer to like natural habitat for me because it gets colder here. The dragon blood peacock, ... All right, my throat is starting to hurt. I've been blabbing my mouth off for like over an hour. It's my wife's birthday today, and she's upstairs by herself. I asked her if she wanted to watch a movie, but she doesn't feel good. She ate something funny for dinner, and I felt bad because I worked night shift last night, and I couldn't hang out with her on her birthday, but I asked her if she wanted me to take off work for her birthday. She said no. I got her some flowers. I let her get her hair done. I guess she's okay. It's Saturday night. I'm here live streaming talking about fish. It's her birthday. She's upstairs, and she's doing her thing. She's just looking at baby clothing. So a lot of you guys maybe have wives or girlfriends with kids. It amazes me, like, the passion they have for like their children. So what did she eat? I don't even know. Oh, she went out to a bar or something and played bingo with some of her girlfriends. So I'm guessing some nasty bar food, but I love nasty bar food. That's right up my alley. Get me a greasy bacon cheeseburger and some tater tots. Woo! I eat like a 19-year-old kid, so I absolutely love it. I eat garbage. Pizza, garlic bread. All right, guys, let's get back on topic. So I have 6 reasons why I don't keep discus fish, and I'll never keep discus fish again, essentially. And maybe I'm saying this, and I had a bad hot dog today. Oof. Dude, hot dogs. I love hot dogs. Bratwurst, that's my business right there. Is it normal for guppies to only have one baby because mine only had one? Should I expect more? I have experienced this, and guppies are somewhat weird. It kind of depends. If you're talking like mutt guppies, there's kind of a lot of weird things that can happen. And the best way I found yielding a lot of guppies is to just get a breeder box and not throw it, but put your female in there. Actually, I have found when you build your own custom breeder box out of like that DIY craft mesh, And when the guppies, because the breeder box you buy is too small and it stresses out the female essentially. And a bigger breeder box is what they need. And you throw some plants in there and you put her in her own tank where she can just chill out, do her thing. And sometimes I will even put another female in with her just to kind of like not stress her out. And yes, that other female could eat some of the babies, but usually it doesn't, especially if they can drop down through the breeder box, through that mesh, and it works great. But anyways, what I'm getting at with your question here is most likely the other fish are eating the babies and you're not seeing it. It's happening at night or it's happening some other time. There's always more than one baby. And sometimes weird things happen where they lose the babies or sometimes they die. You just got to keep at it. And a lot of the true breeders, they don't do any videos on like yielding guppy fry. And that's because it's kind of a secret of the trade I've found. I would like to debunk that because I don't breed and sell guppies. So I would like to like open up that whole, on how to yield a lot of guppy fry. But I mean, you could do it in a pond with like just mutt guppies easily, but yielding and keeping selective, like true guppies of, I can't speak right now. My wife is watching this with me. Ooh, the novice aquarist. Dude, my wife doesn't watch any of my videos anymore. She's just, the aquatics has completely bored her. I love her though, and it's probably better that you have opposites anyways, I found. Corey has a whole lecture on every step. Breeding for profit, does he? Yeah, I think you're right, maybe he does. I think that's breeding guppies for profit, now that I think of it. Now I have my hand in my mouth and look like a complete idiot. Has a whole lecture video on every step. I think you're thinking of his video series, Breeding for Profit. And I think yeah. What's this? What were we even talking about? I see this guy buying only discus at local fish store. Matt got a flower horn. All right, guys. So I'm trying to think of any more reasons why you don't buy discus fish. And I have 6 here. We talked about, my voice is starting to hurt. I've been talking for like over an hour, but I'm trying to think of more reasons because I want this to really strike home with people thinking about keeping discus fish. And if I can get beginner fish keepers not to buy discus fish, it may help from fish dying essentially. And if you're looking to have that beautiful discus fish in your living room and you're thinking about going down this wormhole, maybe this will help some people. Hey Chris, did you get hit by the YouTube purge? No, I did not. I did not, no. I don't really pay attention to much of my analytics though. One thing I do pay attention to, I don't know why, is I want to hit 10,000 views in one day. And I did it, I think, on Wednesday. So I already beat that goal. And then obviously my subscribers is a cool goal. But I try not to over obsess with the YouTube stuff because it is a bitter, slow grind. And I will drive myself insane because my ADD, I become so impatient. I want to get like 10,000 subs overnight and it never happens. And I've learned to just treat it as more of a passion than just trying to get into like the YouTube algorithm, all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's more fun for me essentially. So the RO buddy is too expensive. I'm trying to figure out an RO setup. Yeah, that is also we're talking about with discus fish. That is a good thing to bring up. How do I soften my water? RO water. RO is really the only way. There's a couple other ways to soften your water. You can use like driftwood, but it's so slow that, reverse osmosis is really your best way. They really effed me over. All right, so water parameters. That brings up your question brings up next reason. They want softer water, and a lot of people find that using RO water and adding minerals is the best route to go. But with the massive amounts of water changes, this is kind of a wise tale in the industry that's been around for like the last 10 years, but a lot of people are debunking it by just keeping them in the regular water parameters as long as they stick to it and they're having that like long-term effect. Do more filter reviews. That's how I found your channel, says Jesse Gafflin. Like, what kind of filters? You're talking about hang on the backs or only dumb people chase pH? Well, 5 years ago, chasing water parameters for discus fish was a huge deal. And people would have drums, they'd be using the RO buddies. It sucks doing, and it's using RO water is really wasteful unless you can reuse it, but a lot of people in the city can't reuse it because they don't have pond tubs or anything like that. William says, I got to bounce. See you, Palmer. Take it easy, sir. The Novice Aquarius says, tank mates are tough for discus. I'm not a fan, and such high temperatures either. Yeah, tank mates, a lot of people keep tetras with discus. And you do see videos that people push the boundaries on keeping tank mates. I've seen them with like green, just severums. Not green tears, but I've seen a lot of crazy videos, but I feel like they're pushing the boundaries. I like that, but I don't know. There's a lot of skepticism around a lot of these topics with discus fish because a lot of things are still changing, and every single day that goes by, discus fish are becoming more hardier because that's just what happens with farm-raised fish. They get hardier, and that's really cool. We need that with a lot of these fish. Same with like some of the rams. Yeah, German blue rams are great tank mates because they like higher temperatures in that 84, 85 temp range. And that is another misunderstood fish, German blue rams. I see so many people thinking they can keep rams, and they're like, well, they're dead. And it's like, yeah, that's because they like really high temperatures. Sometimes they like softer water. It really depends your water parameters. The Novice Aquarius says, I have a total of 5 subs just starting out. Yeah, the YouTube grind is real, man. Like, there are new fish tube channels every single day. And if someone asked me, hey, should I start a channel and to have it become big like yours, I would honestly tell you no. What I would tell you to do is it's a lot of work, man. Like, you almost have to treat it like a job, and it's just so polluted right now with so many people doing it. Everybody wants to be DIY Joey, and I will admit, Joey isn't the reason I started my channel. Corey from Aquarium Co-op, because I just saw Joey as like this celebrity that is fun to watch, and I knew I could never do things like Joey because he's so good at what he does. But the reason that what made me is actually Corey, because Corey was more like the DIY. It wasn't as high tech. It was essentially just streaming like this, and I will level up with time, but this is real simple, and I'm just blabbing. People are just listening to me blabbing. It's really simple. But if the struggle of running a fish YouTube channel is real, and it's hard to set yourself apart. What I would do is specialize in one thing and breed them and become popular by having crazy good, like what you're breeding. Like some examples, Kang Lee with Twin Cities Guppies. He's local to me in Minnesota here. Chris Rounds from the Cichlid Exchange. He's like the Red Texas / flower horn guy, and he has his own group where he just sells fish. I'm pretty sure he does that full time now. And if you just specialize in one thing, and I will admit it's hard to do because like you get that shiny object syndrome where you're like, wow, I'm obsessed with Cory catfish lately, or I'm obsessed with plecos now. And I've thought about that too, and I don't listen to my own advice. I'm all over the place. I'll do a video on a killifish or something, and then next I'm doing a video on an arowana. You really just need to narrow your thing down. My cichlids that I like, South Americans, would be a really hard sell, because Oscars, Severums, all these nice cichlids are really cheap. Waru, like they're all cheap fish, and to ship them isn't beneficial. Whereas like fancy guppies or flower horns, I think flower horns would be a tremendous good fish to sell. Jeff Rowe is coming to Minnesota soon. Where did I see that? You should have him over. Yeah, that'd be cool. Jeff Rowe. I follow his channel, listen to all of his live streams. He's super cool. I found that some of the YouTubers are kind of weird with getting together, and there's a lot of like cliques, because I've reached out to like KG Tropicals to like do live streams, and they claim on live stream that, you know, they'll interview with anybody, and you know, like, I'm bugging all those guys to live stream because I live stream and I love talking all this stuff, but it's a lot of them don't want to, and I don't want to throw anyone under the bus and give out names, but a lot of these people, when you're in FishTube and your channel grows, you become competitive, and some of these guys, it's their full-time income. You know, like Dustin and stuff. Like Dustin would never do a live stream with me. There's just I've also reached out to I don't want to give any names because I've reached out to a lot of the guys that just talk fish, and there's also another barrier of scheduling, so it's tough, and I wish I could do more. What would be cool is to go to like the Aquatic Experience and just talk to them there. That would be easier, I think, than like doing live streams. AJ, true that. All right, let's start out the chat here. You guys could do an awesome collab, says Devin Peppers. Yeah, that'd be cool. Do a collab. Joey, good at DIY, but not keeping fish. He is an average fish keeper, in my opinion. I highly disagree. Just my fish. Joey has a lot of things going for him. Number one, he's good at DIY, but he also is good at building things, and he's changed the industry for so many things. Like, I don't know, and look at the growth in stingrays. When he started keeping stingrays, it's not hard to see. Like, you can look up the timeline. People keep what he keeps. Same with flower horns. The spike in flower horns, but yeah, that has nothing to do with his fish keeping skill. But to be honest, you have no idea of his fish keeping skill until you talk with him one-on-one, because a lot of us can make videos on, you know, because you can edit videos, you know, and some fish I don't know a lot about, but I'm just researching them and making a video on it, and I may seem like a short-term knowledgeable keeper of that fish, but I actually really just researched it very heavily for like an hour and did a video on it. But I wouldn't say you absorb certain things better than others. How do you gauge the level of fish keeper? You know what I mean? Like, and just because fish die doesn't mean he's a bad fish keeper. It's easy to point a finger. I just had a 11-inch Midas die in that tank 2 days ago, and it looked completely fine the day before. So it's like, and what's weird was the fish burrowed. I found it dead, like burrowed almost in between decor and gravel, which leads me to believe that maybe the fish was in pain while it died and like tried to burrow into the ground because it almost goes somewhere to hide, because the fish didn't just die and float or die and lay somewhere. It was wedged, and I didn't even see it. The reason I found it was because my water parameters. I happened to test it because I smelt a funky smell, and learning to know smells in your fish room can be one of the strongest water parameter like triggers ever. I can walk into this fish room right here and know if something's off just by the smell of the room. And you will learn that when you have a lot of tanks too. Joey doesn't exactly apply to the average fish keeper anymore though. Your and Corey's channels I can relate to much more. Yeah, and I try to keep it realistic. I mean, I work a regular job. I'm working the grind. I keep fish. There's nothing special about any of it. I'm a cheap wad. Everything's cheap for me. Every tank I buy is used pretty much. I'm repairing tanks. I'm poor, essentially. I'm broke. I work blue collar. There's nothing glamorous about this. I'm trying to open my own fish store. I have a family, a mortgage. Like, there's nothing much more real about it. It kind of sucks. I wish that I lived in an apartment, and there's part of me that wishes I would have stayed in an apartment, taken out a business loan, and opened a store. Because my local fish store that's how she did it. She lived in an apartment. She has no mortgage, a cheap apartment. That's how she can afford it. And she essentially just took out a business loan and opened a fish store on storefront property. And I don't know, I have to work with what I have, and I have the building, and that's why I'm going to. You have to play the cards you're dealt with. Michigan Aquatic says, why MGK when Eminem is clearly better? Because MGK is an underdog, and I like. We've all heard Eminem's stuff for so long that it's. I mean, Eminem's obviously better, but MGK is crazy, and I like his style. He's nuts, and everybody likes people that are crazy like MGK. That's off topic, but I do like rap music from time to time. I like all kinds of music except country. All right, Devin Peppers. Let me refresh the chat here. I want to see this. Something about Jeff Rose coming to Minnesota. So yeah, discus fish. I think we've completely covered all the topics on why I won't or ever keep discus fish again. I'm probably going to talk all this smack, and then I'll have some people asking me if they can buy discus in the store, and I have it going. He is coming up to get some shell dwellers to Minnesota. I mean, he is doing a tour of Kang Lee's, or is trying to, so I'm sure he would be cool with doing something with you if you are close. Yeah, I'm actually probably an hour and 20 minutes from Kang Lee's place, which is a lot, but I'm out in the sticks. I like living out in the country. I don't have a lot of neighbors. Ever thought of developing your own hybrid? That would be pretty crazy, and I don't know if I were to do it, I would probably not do it in a cichlid. Maybe though, I don't know, that's such a crazy question. I'd have to think about it for like an hour, and what fish I would go with. I don't know, man, it's crazy. Eric says, I'm about to go to college. I will be in for 8 years before oh wait, I gotta read this again. I'm about to go into college. I will be in for 8 years before in and out. That's confusing, Eric. Hey Chris, any opinions on stocking a 100-gallon tank 5 feet long? That's one of those weird 5-footers. Yes. Get an Oscar fish, get a green terror, get a jaguar cichlid, get some severums, a waru, just anything big cichlids. That's a good sized tank. Don't overdo it though. Like, get some acaras, green terrors. Maybe only get a couple fish that reach that like 12-inch mark, because like the jag cichlid and the Oscar, have those be your 2 biggest fish. Actually, scratch the Oscar. Oscars are crazy bioloads, and I really believe a 6-foot tank is better for them because it's. I will go that jag cichlid, a bunch of severums, waru. I would like to dabble with some bigger angel fish, because some people have sent me videos of keeping angels with some of these South Americans. The jags get pretty big. I don't think they'd screw with an angelfish though, because an angelfish is deceiving how tall and big they are. You got to make sure they're full size though. And maybe what I would do is hand pick my angelfish, like the ones that are more aggressive, because when you have an angel tank, or you can go to a fish store and say, hey, well, who's the boss male in this tank? And maybe you could put that in with your stocking tank. Hey Chris, I'm a mod on his channel and be happy to bring up to him that you also are in Minnesota. Yeah, I mean, if he wants to hang out, that's cool. I try not to push people. I know when you travel, I've traveled before, and people like just freak out about it, and it really stresses you out. Corey talks about it all the time, and it can be really stressful, because if he has things planned and maybe he wants to see some things in Minnesota, it would be cool though, I guess. Guppies always get picked on. I have a 5-foot 100-gallon tank and I have tilapia in it. 13 of them blue tilapia. Don't tilapia get huge aqua balls? They get like a foot long at least, right? Alright guys, I think I'm going to wrap this up. It's 10 o'clock my time. I'm getting kind of sleepies. The Mountain Dew. I don't know, I might order a pizza. Maybe watch a movie with my wife, see how it goes. This was a very good super chat. Yeah, so you can just tell I'm tired. This was a super cool live stream on why we don't keep discus fish, or I should say some of you guys might keep discus fish. If you guys like this video 10 more times, I'll do a live stream tomorrow, and maybe we'll try to run this ongoing for every day of the week. Maybe I want to shoot for a goal where I live stream every night of a week. I think that'd be cool. So there's only 28 likes right now as currently. And if you give it a like, comment below if some topics for live streams, because I need some of those. I have a hard time figuring out comments, and it's okay. We got 30 likes, so we're getting close. If this video has 38 likes by like midnight, I will try to do a live stream tomorrow, and then I'm gonna set a goal for tomorrow. If we can get so many likes on tomorrow's live stream, I will attempt with all my power to do a live stream every single night of the week. And that's been my goal for a long time. And it'll probably drive my wife crazy, but I like setting goals like that. So stream tomorrow at 9 a.m. That could be doable. Let me know in the comment section. It appears we already have the amount of likes. There's 73 people watching, 43 likes. We are there. So hit up the comment section. Let me know. I need some topics. Angelo's fish tanks. How's it going, sir? Yeah, I guess that really wraps it up. I show you, come over to my channel after Chris is done. I show you my fish room. Piranhas. Yeah, I could do a live stream on piranhas. It would just be me ranting. I do a lot of rants, but all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thanks to 71 of you guys watching right now. I really need topics. It's crazy picking topics for these live streams, because essentially you have 30 to 40 minutes of just talking about one thing. So it kind of has to be a narrow topic. And maybe I could do multiple topics on smaller size topics and do multiple live streams. That might be kind of cool too. I don't know. I'm just kind of dabbling with different ideas. All right, guys, have a great night. Sleep good. I will see you tomorrow for shiz. All right, see ya.